Call is not ready. We're just looking. I don't think we're ready to go. How long? Ask them how long. When are you looking? What's important to you? Why are you waiting? Isn't it important to ask why they're waiting? What if they're just simply taking money out of a retirement account? What if they're waiting because they believe that these times are tough right now? There's no inventory. There's too much inventory. It's low inventory. Stock market's up. Stock market's down. Seek to understand. Seek to understand. And if you mail to folks, your job is to make sure that these are live leads. So if you mail to people's houses, if you put door hangers and they called you, your job is to start combing and getting and figure out who's live. Get their names, phone numbers, email addresses, to stay in touch in the future. So here we are in direct response. We're in direct response. So guys, these are just some simple examples, and we're getting down, so I just wanted to share with you, we're getting down to the end over here. So don't forget to add your questions. I will answer them once we finish up. But let's talk about direct response. This is very direct, and you're targeting one specific customer. Example, first-time home buyers. Attention first-time home buyers, buy, rent when you can own. Here's another one. Homes under 150,000. Boy, oh boy, don't you wish that was the case. But if you knew median price points in a particular neighborhood and you wanted to generate buyer leads, why wouldn't you put an ad on Facebook or WeChat or Instagram that says, hey, we've got houses under $600,000. Give us a call today to speak to us about the pictures or more information. First-time home sellers, 100 ways to sell your house fast and for more money. It's direct mail. What's the goal? What's the goal? The goal here is to, so if you mailed something to people, you're getting a response to that group, that audience. So you have to send a message where they say, oh, that's me. I'm a first-time home seller. That's me. I'm a first-time home buyer. That's me. I'm looking for a house under 600,000. That's me. I'm looking for a fixer-upper. Right? Let's talk about fixer-uppers. So if you advertise for fixer-uppers, let me just talk, and I know this is marketing. So if you're marketing, for example, on one of these portals and you got a lead, right? So you got a lead for a $99,000 property that's not for sale. Hello, hello, it's a human calling about property. You spent the money to generate the lead, but you didn't talk to the customer. Oh, that property is fake. That's not a real property. You'll never get a property for $100,000. That's ridiculous. Guys, seek to understand, why did they call you in the first place? Are they investor? Are they owning a house and they're looking to refinance to buy something as an investment? Are they truly a person that is dreaming of buying a house, but they don't have the money yet? Don't think that's always that last category. Because sometimes if they called you about the, and $99,000 is ridiculous, but I mean really low in our marketplace, but let's say somebody called in a lower price point, what's wrong? What if in fact, let's say they called for a one family property and they thought it was a fixer-upper. By the way, you spent the money to generate this lead, by the way. The person called you about the $500,000 property, and you're like, no, sorry, that's not in this marketplace. Houses sell for really $900,000. That's an unattainable house. But what if? And then you just hung up the phone. You didn't even take their information. You're like, oh, this person's not serious. But what if you took that information and spoke to them and said, hey, listen, you know what? Even though $1 million is the price in this neighborhood for this type of property, would you be interested in buying a condo or co-op for? Well, condos and co-ops go for about $350 to $500. That's how you increase the return on your investment, guys. You can also direct people to a website, right? That's where you control. That's where you get that deep piece, right? You control the funnel. They come to you. They called you. What's next? Is the chain broken? Is the chain broken? Do you have something else to nurture these customers? Do you have a landing page? Do you have a website? Do you have something that after they call you, if they're not ready to go, how do you stay in touch through some automation? Do they go to a website? Do they go to a landing page? And I personally like people that register. I don't want all these like, Mickey Mouse at AOL.com. We know some people that love Mickey Mouse, but personally Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse seems to be all over the place. I want somebody that's able to register. I want to be able to stay in touch. No, your ad should reflect your goals. The more vague the ad, the more calls you will receive. The more calls you receive, it's a little bit difficult to measure that ad campaign. Does that make sense? Accountability. So when people are calling, I would put vanity numbers, and today's vanity numbers, when I move that, is you can go to Google Voice and get a phone number that you could track things, or you can buy vanity numbers out there. You can buy numbers that are specific, buy like 10 phone numbers, and you could just use it, and it can all direct to one phone number, by the way. Google that. It's also on our agent link page. Well, no, it's not. But Google that. You can set up vanity numbers. You set up vanity numbers that could forward to one phone number. It's this way you know that if they're calling off of your postcard, they're calling off of your website, they're calling off of your social media ad, you know where it's coming from. So here we go. Here's the definition of accountability. Let's call. This is a call resulting from the marketing. The set is after you set a specific appointment. A meeting is when you meet face-to-face or through Zoom. Listing is a signed listing agreement or signed buyer agreement, and a buyer is in the process, not empty promises, not like I'm gonna buy tomorrow. So when you measure this, you can really see what your return on investment is, because many agents also say they hurt themselves mentally, right? They say, oh, I'm gonna give up on this campaign because I didn't get any return. And they stop, or they move to another location to market, and actually they were making money. They just weren't tracking it correctly. Because if they were making money, now they go somewhere else and they're not making money again. They lost again, they give up marketing completely. Whereas if they would have just been consistent, stayed with it, knew exactly how much they were making, they might have stayed a little bit longer, or they got out a little faster. Dialogue. Here we are, guys. We're getting down to the end of your 25 door knocks around a new listing. So if you're just doing listed cards, are you calling that area too? Are you going to dominate? Are you calling too? It has to be more. That's how you're going to increase your investment. So if you just sent out a mailer for a specific group, did you go visit those places? Did you door knock? That's a good door knock. Don't just randomly door knock people's houses. I mean, listen, that's up to you. But if you mail to them, call them, door knock. You do both. My name is Mike Napolitano of RE/MAX Edge. I just listed the house on 123 Main Street as an extra service to the Smiths. I'm visiting their closest neighbor to see if there's anyone you may know who's interested in buying a home. No one. Great. Here's my card. Check out my website. Can I have your email address? Oh, by the way, I just listed the Smith home for $350,000. This is how you increase your return on investment. Stay active. Oh, Mike, I mailed the postcard and I sat at my desk waiting for my phone to ring. Hello, we have a mobile device. Why did you need to sit at your desk waiting for the phone to ring? So you could have knocked on the doors and you could have made 50 calls. Increase the return on your investment. Increase the return on investment. But Mike, the calls, the marketing, that's why I'm doing it. I'm not good with phone calls. I'm better in person. Stop it. Because if you're mailing to people, there should be less resistance. And the truth of the matter is, all you're doing is letting them know in terms of the just listed. You just listed. You're telling them that this is an extra service to the Smiths. That's all it is. The more people you speak to, the luckier you get. I believe in luck, but I believe in luck comes when you work hard. You increase the return on investment. Are you doing these things? Oh, but Mike, you're not doing these things. I've done it before, believe me, and I've also not done it. That's what I tell you. I've done this and I've not done it. What I mean by that is I started doing it more when I was basically not making money, or making enough money rather, on my campaigns. Same thing, 25 door knocks around listings you're selling or listings that are selling. Guys, power of the RE/MAX Edge brand, we have a lot of listings available. A lot of listings. You can say the house down the block was listed by the company. Of course, you should ask permission from that agent to say, hey, listen, it's okay to put it in a group of houses that just got listed in the area. Or you could just say, if you don't want to have to ask permission from the agent, just say, our company just listed a house down the block. Would you like to know more? Come on. Tracking accountability. So you just list a campaign. You got to measure, right? Phase one, consistent. Do it consistently. Because if you give up, that's like that fisherman that went, they chummed the water, they threw the bait in to catch the fish, they waited 30 minutes, they saw all the other fishermen go out away from that chum area, and you did too. And then you follow the other fishermen, they didn't catch fish either, and then finally you go back to the area, you started catching some fish, and you're like, oh my gosh, did I miss a whole school of fish? Because you should be consistent. But this is assuming you've already checked the stats in that neighborhood already, right? You already knew there was a higher turnover rate there, right? This is not assuming you just took a chance and just chummed the water, right? You didn't view the fish finder. This is assuming that before, if you started from the beginning of this class, you knew, you did a little bit of research about the area, you looked at the turnover rate, you look at the price points, right? If things are expiring at an alarming rate and the housing stock, the absorption rate is very, very low, why are you going after that neighborhood? Is it because you live there? Right. It's because you live there. Okay, sure. Do you want to be like this, right? Because if the neighborhood goes like this for whatever reason, then you're like this. But if you diversify, look for transactions. We are in the transaction business. Your business will probably look like this. But instead, if you're not doing your research and I only work in Bensonhurst, so, or I only work in Staten Island, I only work in Manhattan, I only work in the Bronx, stop. Find the transactions. Now, obviously, especially in New York City, it's very dense. So you can focus on a large group in a row. But if you also know that area, if it's getting quieted down, you need to move that boat somewhere else to go find more fish somewhere else. Otherwise, you'll starve, right? Hunters, if the fish are gone and they don't move, what happens? Read the book Who Moved My Cheese. It's a very short read. Probably you can read it in 30 minutes. It talks about these mice that were eating the cheese, and then they thought the cheese would be a never-ending supply, and they didn't go out and make sure that they harvested cheese. And guess what happened? The cheese was moved, and then those people starve. That's kind of the simple way to look at it, but it's a little deeper than that. But that's the point, though. If you're not moving and finding transactions in your business, and you're stuck on one location because I'm the specialist in that location, then you will follow the trends of that market area. Whatever those trends are, and that's okay too. But if you're looking to have financial security in this business and be a proactive marketer, look at it. Look at this list, it's beautiful. These are the things you should be doing with these campaigns. But many agents, even top performers, you brand new agents, they will say, I work by referral only. Even top performers are not doing this. And that's why the top performers sometimes don't look like this. But when a top performer decides to pivot and says, you know what, I should listen to this message, then the top performers start to look this because they're consistent. They'll become more consistent. Once they become more consistent, then they become more efficient, they become proficient. That's how you make $1 million in real estate, plus $1 million plus. Okay. Accountability is key, guys. Accountability is key. Let's look at the bottom here. A dial, phone attempt, not an email, not snail mail, not a social media post or something like that. It's a phone attempt. You actually dialed the phone. Talk is your voice to voice. You spoke to somebody, a live person. We need to speak to people. We're in the relationship business. When people are okay with completely messaging through text messaging and through social media, the game is over and the game has changed. It's still a relationship. People still want to talk to a live human being for now. Set. That means you set an appointment. Meeting. They actually showed up. Be honest with yourself. If they didn't show up, it's okay. People cancel. This way you can measure exactly the return on investment. And last, S equals listening taking, buy equals buyer meeting. Okay, not empty promises. None is empty promises. They actually showed up. You actually showed up. Questions, questions, questions.